Did Jesus exist? Bart Ehrman says yes, but not in the way most people imagine. In this video, I break down his historical case, the evidence beyond the Gospels, and the objections raised by mythicists, who argue Jesus may have never lived at all. The more carefully the evidence is examined, the less comfortable the conclusions become. So recently I published a video titled Who Actually Won the Ehrman versus Carrier Debate. In this, I asked if the arguments of Bart Ehrman or Richard Carrier were more persuasive when it came to the question of whether or not Jesus Christ actually existed and was a historical person. It ignited a lot of debate in the comments, a huge proportion of which focus on the fact that Ehrman has not actually responded directly in the last 5 years to the published work of Carrier and other mythicists, who argue that it is more likely that Jesus never existed. Look, perhaps some of the criticism of Ehrman is valid, but what I want to do today is look a bit more closely at Ehrman's scholarship and see what he has to say on the whole historicist versus mythicist debate. Historicists, for those who haven't been following these last few videos, are scholars of early Christianity like Ehrman, who would argue that Jesus, on the balance of available evidence, was most likely a real historical person. Though it needs to be stressed that it does not mean that they take the New Testament or church doctrine in any way at face value. Oh, and as a side note, I'm due to interview Bart next month, so if you would like to watch that, maybe subscribe. Just to be clear, I'm not claiming to have special insight or to know more than these experts. I'm a lifelong learner, and this channel is part of an ongoing intellectual journey for me. So if you disagree with what I have to say here, that's absolutely fine. I actually really like it. It gives me a chance to learn and to grow. So tell me where you think the argument fails or why the evidence points elsewhere. Ad hominem comments don't move the discussion forward though, and they're not really what this is all about, just as a side note. Alright, a quick note on who Bart Ehrman is first. Many of you will know, but just a quick explaining for those who don't. Ehrman is a scholar of New Testament and early Christian history, though he has written about the Old Testament and the wider Judeo-Christian tradition as well. He was born in Kansas in 1955. He started out as a Christian himself and attended Moody Bible's Institute. But along the way in his college and graduate studies, he came to the conclusion that virtually all of the received knowledge concerning Jesus and the early church, which is handed down to Christians today, is based on remarkably skewed version of events and interpretations of available evidence. It also ignores an enormous amount of early Christian writings that didn't make it into the New Testament. But the main reason why Ehrman became an atheist was due to the problem of evil. Ehrman instead became a critic of received Christian interpretation, and after completing a doctorate at Princeton, he joined the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where he spent most of his academic career. He fully retired in 2025. He has published multiple bestsellers like Misquoting Jesus and Forgery and Counter-Forgery. My focus today is going to be on Did Jesus Exist?, published in 2012. Just to say, I've been a long fan of Bart Ehrman. He's reignited these subjects in a way many scholars haven't. He makes this stuff interesting to talk about and to think about. After watching his retirement lecture at Chapel Hill, that came through even more clearly. Ehrman's central claim is that many people hold strong beliefs about the Bible without ever having read it carefully. Their views are often inherited and not examined, and that's a serious problem because these texts still shape the lives of billions of people and influence laws, politics and social values. Studying them critically isn't anti-religious. It's a basic form of civic literacy in a world where ancient ideas continue to drive modern decisions. Okay, right, his book. Did Jesus exist? It's divided into 3 different parts. Part 1 is evidence for the historical Jesus. In this, Ehrman looks at various kinds of documentary evidence that people who favour the historicist argument usually use to argue that Jesus was a real person. The evidence comes from a range of different places, Clearly, there's a vast array of early Christian writings on Jesus, whether it be the canonical Gospels, the other books of the New Testament, the non-canonical Gospels or writings by early church fathers such as Justin Martyr, Origen, Eusebius, many of whom preserve fragments of early Christian writings in their books. Then there are the non-Christian writings, which are especially important for those people who might be disinclined to trust the authenticity of the Christian texts. Finally, there's a lot of archaeological evidence too, and writings from within Judaism. However, Ehrman is a careful scholar who isn't just presenting the evidence for one side of the argument. Part 2 of Did Jesus Exist explores the mythicist argument, albeit through a fairly critical lens. For instance, one of the chapters here is entitled Mythicist Inventions, while another has a subheading reading Weak and Irrelevant Claims. Clearly, while Ehrman is a critic of received Christian ideas about early Christian history, he's also no fan of the mythicists. Finally, in part 3, Ehrman tries to explore who the historical Jesus actually was. He doesn't argue that the Christian depiction of Jesus that has been handed down should be accepted willingly. Instead, he contends that it's such a web of contradictions and myths that it's almost impossible to find the real Jesus after centuries of him becoming a source of one story after another after another. Ehrman essentially argues that Jesus was a historical character, but that almost nothing for certain can be known about him or his life, such as the layers of mythology which early Christian writers constructed about him. Here isn't the place to go into every single element of Ehrman's book in detail. That wouldn't be possible in one single video. And you should go and read it for yourself if you want to get into a greater idea of Ehrman's evidence and arguments. So instead, I'm going to pick up a few examples from the text to show you how he presents his argument and where he differs from the mythicists, whose ideas I've primarily been looking at in recent videos. For skeptics of the contents of the New Testament, Ehrman's most cogent argument comes from writings from other than the Gospels. He examines these in chapter 4 of Did Jesus Exist? This does not mean that Ehrman is looking exclusively at non-Christian writings here. Instead, he's assessing the material that doesn't feature in our 4 canonical Gospels and the Acts of the Apostles. Here, Ehrman looks at a lot of source material that isn't mentioned by people unless they have looked deeply into the transmission of early Christian texts. For instance, an early Christian author by the name of Papias wrote a 5-volume work entitled Expositions of the Sayings of the Lord. Admittedly, this was published in either the 110s or 120s, about 80 to 90 years after Jesus' alleged time of death, and it has only survived in fragmentary form. This was late in the life of Papias, and he claims to have known people in his youth that actually knew the apostles and so had information about Jesus third hand. The thing about this, though, is that late church fathers like Eusebius, who quoted Papias at length, were first to admit that he said things which bordered on the heretical. For instance, Eusebius wrote of Papias that he set forth matters that came to him from unwritten tradition, including some bizarre parables of the Saviour, his teachings, and several other more legendary accounts. In other words, he wasn't merely spouting out established church propaganda of the kind which the mythicists are so wary. Papias was presenting novel information about the supposed historical Jesus. If he made it all up, he was going to great lengths to do so over 5 books. This isn't to suggest that Papias' claims were accurate. That's not Ehrman's point. But what he is saying is that there must have been a man called Jesus around whom these stories had emerged. If he was fictitious, then there was an absolute mountain of material floating around him in the Eastern Mediterranean by Papias' time, Ehrman argues. Ehrman also notes the writings of Ignatius of Antioch. He lived in the late 1st century in Syria and was even closer in time and place to Jesus. The thing here is that he also diverged from later Christian church tradition. In his letters that survived, Ignatius makes clear that he followed a view that held that Jesus was basically a man who had been born, preached, and then suffered before dying on the cross. He was not writing according to any later church propaganda or establishment view. He was following a tradition that was prevalent in the Levant in the decades after Jesus' time, that there had been a real man named Jesus Christ who inspired a religious movement that admittedly became something different entirely over time. Ehrman also notes that while many of St. Paul's epistles in the New Testament are now believed to be either forgeries or filled with later interpolations, almost no scholar refuses that some of these, like 1 Corinthians, were authentically Paul's writings. In chapter 5 of Did Jesus Exist?, Ehrman then goes on to explore what he terms 2 key data for the historicity of Jesus. For Ehrman, this centres on the evidence that Peter, Paul, and Jesus' brothers existed. Paul notes his meetings with Peter and also mentions one of Jesus' brothers in Jerusalem, and later notes that his debates with the heads of the church, like Peter in the middle of the 1st century, as disagreement emerged over the shape of the Christian movement and whether they should be appealing to Jews or Gentiles in their conversion efforts. For Ehrman, despite the fact that many of Paul's epistles are indeed forgeries, the scholarship is clear that several of them are genuinely Pauline epistles, and that they provide evidence of Paul's extensive encounters with people who actually knew a historical, living and breathing Jesus. But this does not mean for 1 second that Ehrman is accepting any received view of Jesus. Quite the contrary. He states here that what I think is that Jesus really existed. By that, the Jesus who really existed was not the person most Christians today believe in. More broadly, these sections from Pauline epistles and his supposed meetings with Peter and Jesus' brothers are absolutely central to the mythicists versus historicist debate. Mythicists like Dr. Richard Carrier consistently argue that the Pauline claims about knowing Jesus' brothers are unreliable. Ehrman's book does not shy away from the mythicist argument. Indeed, the entire book could be interpreted as, I guess, his extended commentary on the mythicist argument. Ehrman goes through the arguments of the mythicists point by point across his book and makes some genuinely really interesting points. For instance, some mythicists point towards the fact that the canonical Gospels were clearly not written by Jesus' followers as evidence of his existence being bogus. And Ehrman freely admits that the Gospels were not written by the people that the early Christian church claimed they were. Jesus' followers were probably illiterate peasants and fishermen from a society where Aramaic was the spoken word, whereas the New Testament Gospels were written by well-educated Greek-speaking Christians decades later. But Ehrman notes that this hardly invalidates the existence of Jesus. And in the 1980s, for instance, the notorious Hitler diaries surfaced and were embarrassingly authenticated by several well-regarded historians. Later they were proved to be forgeries, but nobody would ever try to suggest that Hitler didn't exist based on the fact that these diaries were falsely attributed to him. Surely the same logic, Ehrman argues, applies to New Testament Gospels. What's important isn't whether they were written by the apostles or not, but rather there was a man named Jesus in the first place who the men who wrote these texts could attribute stories to. And while Ehrman notes that Carrier is an intelligent scholar, he also states that some other mythicist arguments border on the absurd. For instance, several 20th century mythicists try to claim that the town of Nazareth, Jesus' home place, never existed in ancient times, a theory which is clearly debunked by archaeological evidence. He also notes that the traditions found in the writings of non-Christian historians of the late 1st century, most notably Josephus and Tacitus, who both mention Jesus, date shortly after the time of Jesus. Tacitus, for instance, did not pluck his accounts of Roman history between the reign of Caesar Augustus and Domitian out of thin air. He used the same sources as every historian. So when he mentions Jesus, Ehrman argues, he wasn't relying on some story that was circulating about Jesus in his own time, which in any event would not be plausible, as almost no Roman knew who Jesus was anyway by the year 100, but was instead relying on older texts and accounts of Jesus' trial and execution in the time of Pontius Pilate. These are Ehrman's accounts in brief. What do you think? Do you agree? Disagree? I felt the need to lay out Ehrman's arguments clearly here in line with previous videos. One thing that is worth noting is that Ehrman is unlikely to start engaging at length with this subject again. At one point in Did Jesus Exist? He stated, "I sometimes get asked, why do I not make a practice of responding to scholars and bloggers who criticise my work and attack me personally? It's a good question, and I have several answers. For one thing, there are only so many hours in the day. If I responded to all the crazy things people say, I would have no time for my other work, let alone my life." And fair enough, I guess. This possibly explains Ehrman's silence on the mythicist argument in recent years, while it's also worth mentioning that he has moved on with his research. But maybe in the light of work by Carrier and other mythicists, he should try to re-engage with the mythicist arguments more directly. So what do you think about Ehrman's arguments, and whether he should return to debating Carrier and others? Let me know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching. Cheers. See you in the next one.
God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed.